Ever tried surviving a whole day in a city with just $5? Welcome to Hanoi, Vietnam, where $5 is both a challenge and a thrill ride. Because let's face it, no one makes good decisions on an empty stomach. I spot a tiny plastic stool that's practically begging for my Western behind to struggle with it. Legend has it, a giant turtle lives in these murky waters, guarding an ancient sword. I scan the surface, half expecting to see a turtle head pop up, wearing a tiny general's hat. The vendor, a tiny woman with the energy of 10 espressos, assembles my sandwich with the precision of a surgeon and the speed of a Formula One pit crew. No such luck, but the peaceful oasis in the middle of the urban chaos is a welcome sight. Perched in front of a steaming pot of pho, I realize I've found my breakfast nirvana. As I step out into the frenetic energy of the old quarter, the smell of fish sauce and grilled meat hits me like a delicious, aromatic slap to the face. My mission: to eat, explore, and experience as much of Hanoi as humanly possible without going into debt or resorting to petty theft. Challenge accepted. Hanoi, let's dance. This chaotic dance of vehicles, this organized madness, it's not just traffic, it's a metaphor for life in Hanoi. Painting the sky in hues of orange and pink, my stomach growls, reminding me that I have just enough dong left for one last meal. I follow my nose to a busy street corner where a crowd is gathered around a makeshift grill. Adaptable, resilient, and always moving forward, no matter the obstacles. But bless her heart, she nods and ladles out a bowl of fragrant beef noodle soup that could make a grown man weep. Costs 30,000 dong, or about $1.30. Imagine a game of Frogger, but instead of a frog, you're a sweaty tourist, and instead of logs, it's a sea of honking scooters. The key? Channel your inner Jedi, walk slowly and steadily, and pray to whatever deity you believe in. Miraculously, the sea of vehicles parts like some motorized Red Sea, and I make it across unscathed. I feel like I should get a medal for this. Not bad for a meal, that's basically a warm hug in a bowl. First, stop. Breakfast. Machifobio, aoi. I call out, butchering the tones so badly, the vendor wins. As I navigate the labyrinth of the old quarter, dodging motorbikes like a caffeinated ninja, I stumble upon Honkin Lake. Now, let's talk about crossing the street in Hanoi. Midday hunger strikes, and I find myself drawn to a banh mi stand like a moth to a flame. As I munch on my banh mi masterpiece, I wander into the maze-like Dong Juan market. It's a sensory overload of colors, smells, and sounds. Vendors hawk everything from knockoff Nike shoes to live chickens. I'm pretty sure I just saw a stall selling only left socks. The entrepreneurial spirit is strong here, folks. Fun fact, Hanoi has been around for over 1,000 years. That's older than most countries, and definitely older than my last relationship. Speaking of ancient things, I decide to check out the Temple of Literature, Vietnam's first national university. Built in 1070, it's a serene complex of courtyards and pavilions that makes my alma mater look like it was built yesterday. Entrance fee: 30,000 dong. As I wander the grounds, I can't help but imagine ancient scholars pulling all-nighters and complaining about their professors. Just like we do today, some things never change. I guess the afternoon sun beats down mercilessly, and I'm sweating more than a snowman in a sauna. Time for a pick. I spot a street vendor selling café soi da, Vietnamese iced coffee. For 15,000 dong, I get a glass of rocket fuel disguised as coffee, sweetened with condensed milk. One sip, and I swear I can see through time. Caffeinated and slightly jittery, I decide to tackle the ultimate Hanoi experience. A ride on the back of a motorbike taxi, I negotiate a fare of 20,000 dong with a driver who looks old enough to have fought in the war, but handles his bike like he's auditioning for Fast and Furious. Hanoi drift. As we weave through traffic, narrowly avoiding certain death, at least 17 times, I have an epiphany. The sun begins to set. For my final 15,000 dong, I score 2 sticks of grilled pork and a handful of pickled vegetables. As I bite into the smoky, slightly charred meat, I realize something profound. Sometimes the best experiences come not from how much you spend, but from how creatively you spend it. As night falls and the city lights up like a neon-soaked Christmas tree, I find a quiet spot by the lake to reflect on my $5 adventure. In just one day, I've eaten like a king, traveled through time, cheated death on the streets, and discovered that the true wealth of Hanoi isn't in its currency, but in its people, its flavors, and its indomitable spirit. So here's to Hanoi, a city that taught me more in 24 hours than some places do in a lifetime. A place where $5 can buy you a day's worth of memories, and where getting lost is just another way of finding yourself. And remember, dear viewers, we get lost, so you don't have to. But sometimes, getting a little lost is the best way to truly find a place. Until next time, keep your wallets light and your sense of adventure heavy. Hanoi, you've been a cheap date, but a memorable one? Ciao ban.